Hi everyone, Tressa from AHM here with you today. Today I'd like to teach you a meditative art form that I find to be very relaxing, especially if I'm stressed or feeling anxious, and it's called Zentangle. Zentangle is a great art form that anyone can do. You don't have to be super experienced in art. Any age person can do Zentangle. And what it is just repeating a doodle or a figure. And there's a lot of different resources for Zentangle patterns. You can go on Pinterest and on YouTube. So a lot of videos and instruction on how you can do this. I find that if I am feeling overwhelmed or stressed and I start to Zentangle, I do feel a sense of calm and release. Sometimes I'll play some quiet music and I find that I'm just able to release any stress that I might be having. So it is really fun. So I'm going to walk you through 3 tangles or doodles today, and hoping that you'll be inspired to continue. So what you're going to do is just take your piece of paper, draw a square, and divide it up into 3 sections. So I like to work on one section at a time when I'm doing my Zentangle. And really what you want to do is focus on that particular pattern and just trying to really be intentional where your marker or your pen is going, not worrying about if you make a mistake. You just want to keep going and just really be focused. So the first one we're going to do is called Tipple. And all you need to know to draw a tipple is to know how to draw a circle. So what I'm going to do is I like to start with some big circles within my pattern. And then as I start filling in my section, maybe adding some tinier bubbles or circles. And the goal is to fill your entire section with these circles or bubbles. Again, as you come to different parts of your section, you might want to think about if those circles would be half circles or maybe 3/4 circles, how you can fill in between each circle and those empty spaces, whether it's going to be a larger circle or maybe a series of smaller ones. So I'm not going to finish this whole section right now, because I want to be able to teach you a couple other patterns, but I'll bring it a little closer just so you can kind of get an idea of what that looks like. Okay, you might even choose as you get going that you want to fill some of your circles in as a solid color, which kind of gives it a little more texture and makes those circles kind of pop out. So again, there's no right or wrong way to do this particular art form. It's just kind of how you're feeling in the moment. So that's the first one. Okay, the second tangle I'm going to show you is called Hypnotic. So what you're going to do is choose another section of your drawing, and you are going to draw some lines that are as equally spaced as you can, going up and down. And then you're going to bring some lines horizontal again, giving equal space. I suggest making those spaces pretty big, especially your first time. Sometimes when we get started with Zentangle, we tend to make everything really small. With this particular pattern, you want to keep your boxes pretty big. So once you have your grid set up, what you're going to do is in the middle of each one, kind of do this whirly, twirly, swirly type of figure, almost like a bullseye going around each square. On the squares that are partially drawn, you're going to kind of imagine where that swirl would go. Okay, so you're going to do one full line, and then if you want on your alternating lines, if you want to get really creative, you can alternate the direction that your swirl is going. And remembering when you get to those squares that aren't full, you want to imagine where that line would go. Okay, so that's called Hypnotic. Okay, this last section that we're going to talk about, it's going to be a little more freer within the type of shapes that you're making. So we're going to start out with some kind of swirly lines going kind of following a little path. And what you want to do is mirror that same path coming back up. Great. Then what you're going to do is maybe choose another pathway. And again, you decide what direction these paths are going to go, but you just want to make sure that you're mirroring that line, and you'll see why in a little bit. Maybe I'm going to bring this line a little bigger. It's really fun. This is where you can really be creative and allowing your pen or your marker just to go wherever. All right, once I have a series of roads or paths, this is when you're going to be able to get a little more creative. And within these roads, you can start adding some design. And it really doesn't matter what the design is, as long as it's something that you can do over and over and over, because that is the whole point of Zentangle, being able to do a pattern repetitively. And that's what makes it so stress relieving. So you're just doing something over and over again. Okay, maybe in the middle of these, you're going to put little dots. Again, it's totally whatever you want to add to it, as long as you're staying consistent within your patterns and it's something that you are repeating over and over again. Typically, Zentangle is done with black pen. I'm using a Sharpie today just so you can see on the video, but you can also do it with pencil. You can add color. I've seen Zentangle done on sneakers, t-shirts. In the fall, I see a lot of people Zentangling white pumpkins. So there's a whole lot that you can do with the creativity of Zentangle. So I want to just show you something that I've been working on during these past few months when we've all been home. My daughter and I actually will have some Zentangle nights. And so we have created some of these patterns. And again, we go on Pinterest or do a Google search of Zentangle patterns, or sometimes go on to YouTube. And so this, we decided we were going to use red as kind of our accent colors. So obviously I haven't finished all my sections yet, because this is something we do a little bit every night. We'll play some soft, relaxing music. This is my daughter's that she's been working on. So yeah, that is Zentangle. So I encourage you to get creative, get cozy and comfortable, and just have a really good time with it. So best of luck to you. Thanks for joining.